I know it's crazy to say that the Nuggets might win this series based off of one game, but the way that they dismantled this Suns team was insane. So because this was the only game tonight, I'm actually going to break down this game into 3 different reasons as to why I think the Nuggets will beat the Suns. Disclaimer, like I said, this is still only the first game of the series, so if the Suns end up coming back and winning the series, don't come back to this video saying that I was wrong and all this stuff, okay? We're basing this off of one game of information. Let's get into it. Now, my first topic and reason as to why I think the Suns will struggle or lose this series is the Suns' depth. Now, this is obviously a problem ever since they did trade for Kevin Durant, and we all knew that you can't not trade for Kevin Durant. I mean, that is a player that will impact your team tremendously, and he already has in the short time that he's been there. But man, their depth, especially in this game, was a struggle. I mean, having all these old guys out there besides Booker playing almost the entire game nonstop is very, very, very bad. I don't know how far they can go in the playoffs playing like that, but the most points that they got off their bench was from Jock Landale, who scored 7 points, with like half those points being in the garbage time when all the players were actually out of the game. So their bench basically had no effect on this game, and it shows in the final result. And at the end of the day, you just can't rely on 5 guys to beat an entire NBA team. That is just not how it's going to work. I think that'll be one of their main keys that they really focus on in the offseason, is trying to get some depth in that team. It'll for sure help a lot having a lot of free agents out there. I mean, hey, Dylan Brooks to the Phoenix Suns? I'm just saying maybe that's a good idea. Maybe that's a good idea. I don't know. So yeah, like I said, I think free agency will be a huge thing for the Suns next year. I don't think that they're really ready for what is about to come. I don't think that they're ready for a Western Conference Finals run. I don't think they're ready for an NBA Finals run. I don't think they're that prepared. They can't do that with what they have now. They need more roster depth. The second topic I have as to why I think the Suns might struggle, and this is something that's a little bit more flip-floppy, like we don't know 100%. It's not something guaranteed like the roster depth is, and that is playoff Jamal Murray. And I know it sounds crazy to say based off one game. I don't want to hype him up too much or get too much of a recency bias in my head, but he has a history. He has a history as a playoff riser. Think about this, like your Jamal Murray. The last time you actually played in a full playoff series, you were in the bubble going against the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. That was last time. We are now almost 2 years through with him not playing a playoff series. He wants this bad. And when I say that he wants it more, I'm saying he wants this environment the most, right? He's been craving this for 2 years. And every other player out there has been in this environment before. He's out there. He wants to show that he can still play, and he is still that guy that was in the bubble. So depending on how this playoff series goes, this will probably be a playoff Murray type of situation where he builds a reputation to be one of the best playoff risers in NBA history. That's a crazy title, I know, but I'm saying if they make a strong run, that could be a title. I also want to say I feel like no one has really been talking about Jamal Murray besides in the playoffs, and it's understandable because he wasn't playing as good as he was so far in the playoffs in the regular season, but he is still and was such a huge piece in the Nuggets getting here. I feel like no one talks about him. Everyone only talks about Jokic, and you know, to be fair, he is a 2-time MVP, so like, that does make sense, but he's really been under the radar, and I think that this year, hopefully these playoffs will actually give him more light when it comes to the regular season and show that the Nuggets are more than just Jokic, because like I said, we've seen plenty of games this year where Jokic maybe wasn't having the best game and Jamal Murray stepped up. That is a thing. That is a real thing. And not to say that the Suns weren't already thinking this, but this game actually puts Jamal Murray on the map for them. This shows them that they don't only have to lock down Jokic, they have to lock down now 2 scorers on the team. Like I said, they probably knew that before, but to this extent, I just don't think that the Suns went into this game thinking that Jamal Murray would drop 30.9 assists, 5 rebound game. I think this will really make them shake things up and try to see how they could stop him along with Jokic, because those two can flip-flop very easily on who has the better night. Like, they both played good, but one of them will always play better. And now with the third topic that I have, I'm going to say it right now, the Suns cannot guard Jokic, okay? And I know that may have been a little obvious going into this series, but goddamn, DeAndre Ayton has been some ass. And I've always said this on my channel, I am a huge believer in DeAndre Ayton, but ladies and gentlemen, today I might have to sell my stock because it is just not looking good. And there's a reason as to why I've only talked really about Booker and KD when it comes to the Suns, because no one else is helping. Most of the time when I saw Jokic going into the paint, it was either not even Ayton guarding him because they had a switch, or Kevin Durant would have to come over, or some other player would have to come over and give them help defense, which makes sense that you want to help Jokic in the paint. But a guy as big as Ayton, right? Feel like he can do a little bit better on defense when it comes to guarding him, but they can't. They have to double him every time, which will always leave someone open, or honestly, Jokic could honestly take 2 people at once. Pause. It was either that or Jokic would just go in and just start backing them down and just hit some crazy shot in their face. Like, that was how it went the entire time for Jokic. Jokic also wasn't a huge fan of passing today because he sold my parlay. So yeah, that was pretty cool. But I also just can't help myself in thinking that maybe it's finally time for Chris Paul. Maybe he's finally too old and he just can't do it anymore because he struggled today. He struggled. And that's where you get to me saying that it's only Kevin Durant and Booker, because it's just like no one else in this team was helping them. Not to mention they both almost scored 30 points each and they still couldn't pull away with it. I just feel like I'm getting repetitive at this point. But like I said before, this isn't a video where I'm trying to like disrespect Suns fans or the Suns team itself. We are still only 1 game in and we are going based off of what we saw today. These are my topics. These are the things I have to talk about. We don't know. The Suns may come back next game and just crush them, and then we have a whole different conversation to have, because maybe we will see the bench be more active. Maybe we will see Chris Paul have a really good game. These are things that we don't know until we see it happen. With that being said, I know this video might be short short. There was only one game today, which was this game, and it was the first game of the second round of the playoffs, which is very exciting because we have a lot more matchups to cover. But I will see you guys tomorrow where I talk about the Warriors versus Kings game 7. I don't know how it's going to be. It's either going to be my most emotional and most disappointing video, or I will be jumping around shooting confetti out of my ass. I don't know how it's going to go. I'm very scared, honestly. I will actually be at the game. So if you're seeing this before the game, come up and say hi to me. If you live in Sacramento and you're going to the game. With that being said, be sure to like and subscribe. Liking the video actually helps out a lot. It pushes it on recommended pages. So that would be awesome. And I'll see you guys all next video. Later.